Infernal Shrines, qualifier number 6, everybody! Whoop whoop! The X Cup continues! And, well, I'm full on board on it. We are having a lot of cool stuff. So last time, in qualifier number 5, for the first time in this qualifier series, we had the flipping Mafia. They made it to the semifinal, where they faced off against the Hardos, and obviously they were a little bit outmatched there. But now we have them back. So things are starting to spice up a little bit. We're heading into the second half of the qualifiers that we have. The teams are looking at this. Also, a little bit of a spoiler. I had a couple of players also contact me and are saying like, hey dude, listen, we're currently on vacation, thinking about playing. Do you think we can still qualify? What's happening with Meta Madness around this? Will there be more seasons? So I've already been teased that there's going to be a couple new teams that might be building, and I hope so, that we might either see in the X Cup summer, or if we're heading into a new season, then in the X Cup fall. But either way, as we're going into X Cup qualifier number 6, it's obviously still the same game. The teams will gather points as they continue through the tournament. If you are winning the entire qualifier, you get 10 points at the end of all 10 qualification tournaments where the points are getting accumulated. There's a leaderboard. Top 8 make it into the main event, where we play for 4,000 euros of prize money. And also another real cool story that you probably already heard, but if you didn't, I'll let you know once again. The X Cup is completely sponsored by a Private Heroes of the Storm fan that has been playing the alpha and beta like for years now. Watched HGC, really liked the competitive scene, and wants to give back now and really help out here in the times of like past HGC. So absolutely awesome stuff. A tournament by the community, for the community. And well, here we are. We got our Zagara ban again. Yeah, our girl these days gets banned out pretty much regularly. So there's that. And yeah, off we go. We got Vala already as a pretty early pick right here. We've seen that with a lot of double supports, by the way, but if you already noticed the bans here, then we have 3 supports banned out, and one of them being Uther, so that makes it a bit more difficult to really get the double support setup going. Personally, I could say them try and play that with either Medivh to sub in for the second support, or maybe Zarya, so that's definitely something that could happen here. Also keep in mind that this is obviously still the first round of the tournament, meaning we are in a best of 1 mode. Since those qualifiers take place on Sundays and Wednesdays and are meant to be like short and punchy tournaments, we have in the early rounds best of 1 system. Then once we're heading into the semifinals, it's a best of 3. The grand finals also a best of 3. But once we're moving into the playoffs, as you can already imagine, we're entering best of 5 territory, and it's going to be a 3-day playoff tournament. But for now, we got our Malthel pick, interesting, and we get Shitwing together with it. Okay, Trashwing is in. And yeah, fair enough. I kind of expected they would attempt to lock in something a little bit on the nasty side, as pointed out earlier. Get some shields in, help Vala out to stay alive. Vala gonna rock this with a multi-shot build. Nano P really good on the hero. I mean, his Liming is excellent, but his Vala is nothing to sneeze at either. On the other side, we got Alfredo with the immediate pick on our boy Tychus. So we're gonna get Odin into the action again, which is also be kind of nice. And that's that. But yep. There's this. The ban on Tyrael. I gotta admit that what I really like about Tyrael these days is that we're gonna get a lot of judgment, so it's kind of cool. But what else are we gonna get on the ban side? We have Junkrat banned out. Yeah, it's another one that we oftentimes see on the ban board these days, especially the Hardos. The Hardos, whenever they are in second pick position, they ban out Zagara and Junkrat. It's pretty much their game plan. Unless there's on the other side a team where they know that there's a specific preference pick that they want to get rid of, that's their go-to bans. Now we got our boy Malfurion in. And ever since we had the conversation about his talent level for Shandor's Clarity, I can't, like, honestly, if that guy is not a pothead, then I don't know. I initially suggested that Shandor's Clarity sounds a little bit like he's into liquor and he has some homebrewed stuff there, but people pointed out that it just sounds like a weed brand in California, and I can't unsee that anymore. So yeah, the old geezer with the green beard, he's definitely been smoking a little bit too much moss. And that's going to his head for sure. But Malfurion is obviously a fantastic follow-up for the Nubarak stun, and that's why they're locking him in right now. Nubarak with the initial stun, Malfurion with the follow-up, can also zone them out on the objective a bit. And on the other side, we get Blaze and we get Jojo. So a triple melee frontline now. No extra protection for Vala. Nenopi has the front line that will keep him safe, but he doesn't get the double support that a lot of teams are trying to set up when they're playing her. Yeah, and that leaves us with the last pick, and here's Sonya. So, we got Sonya in, our girl is ready, Infernal Shrines is the map, so let's head in. Qualifier number 6 is starting right here. Let's get ready for the match between the Flipping Mafia and Wi-Fi Griefing Us. The Flipping Mafia against Wi-Fi Griefing Us. Now, the team names, or at least the player names, they should definitely ring a bell, especially on the blue team side, but also for the Wi-Fi boys. We got Shamzik for the Mafia with Brightwing. Nenopi is playing Vala, Farland on Malthael, X-Ray on Jojo, and Bishops is playing Blaze. As on the right side of the map, the Wi-Fi boys with Simply DK on Nubarak. We got the Pepe hands on Malfurion, Funds on Hogger, Soaking on Sonya, and my boy Alfredo and his brother Al Dente on Tychus. Let's go. Yeah, the Emerald Dream on level 1. Already rocking the doubloon over here, but it's party time. And it's going to be a bit interesting to see how far the Mafia can go this time. The standings are actually really interesting right now, especially with the Donuts, because the Donuts have only participated in a single event so far. They did well, they took 2nd place, but ever since that, they didn't play in the qualifier anymore. So they really have to, at some point, buckle up a little bit, make sure that they participate in another tournament, or they might not stay in the top 8. Currently, they are in 8th place, but I'm pretty sure that after today's qualifier, that's going to change, because X-Ray and the Russians, they are going to lock in a few points, or at least that's a pretty safe bet, and that would put them a little bit farther ahead here. But either way, now that we are checking all of this out, let's have a bit of a look at what's happening around the camps. At the 1 minute mark, obviously spawned already. Hogger is taking advantage of his solo capabilities there, as he's moving in for the camp at the bottom. And the rest of the team is just zoning on the left side. The blue team trying to lock this one in. Down here, this is more or less a foregone conclusion too. Would be surprised if the blue team would make it in time to contest that. So they have to give this one up. But again, was kind of close. And our side laners are rotating between the lanes now as well. So, there we go. We already have our front. Soaking is doing his thing. Has to, of course, also take care of that camp eventually. But we'll see what's happening with that. And down here on the other hand, there's the move. And Tychus goes down. The first blood in the game. The Mafia. Tychus is sleeping with the fishes now. Yeah, and now, with the level 4 talents kicking in, we're obviously starting to prep for the first objective in the game, which is going to be announced in 30 seconds. The multi-shot build continues. And up at the top side, we got a Carapace build, by the way, with the Nerubian armor and the Shed exoskeleton on our boy. And the bigger they are for Tychus. The level 4 for Tychus is really interesting these days, because you can literally play anything there. We've seen the Master Assassin for the passive, especially the Koreans and the Chinese really like to play it. The Europeans have adapted a little bit. We still get a lot of the bigger they are. It oftentimes depends on what you're up against. But In the Rhythm has also been a very solid choice for a long time now. So it's kind of cool to see Tychus in the spot where a lot of the talents and builds make sense depending on how you want to play it out. And of course, depending on the lineup you're going up against and which you're playing too. But with the stacks coming together for Vala, we're going to keep an eye on her. She's going to attempt to stack on the shrine fights in particular, and that's where she's going to get the most value out of her multi-shot too, of course. And the first one is about to open up. Already the spin to win is there. Vala's a little bit far out, and Hogger is just pogging away. And he's getting quite a bit of value for the team here. So, he's just taking it easy. And it's up to Vala to really try and punish him a little bit. But Hogger is just absolutely out of control at this point. Spin to win, baby. They got the double spin too, since they're running Sonya in the same composition as well. Bishops gets attacked. And there's 15 to 11 points as Vala is ranking up the stacks on her level 1. She is getting multiple connects in every single time that he YOLOs that one out. Another one comes through, and it seems like she can't let it go. Hogger is dizzy at this point. Look at him. He's been doing nothing else ever since this started. I mean, he's just literally come in, started spinning, and never stopped. That's all that he did. Boing, 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 and then they had the objective in their hands. Now, the blue team has fallen back. They decided that instead of risking too much here, they're just going for an easy defense. The bait over the wall with Johanna providing a little bit of vision for the Punisher, activates the jump, and then with the Iron Skin, she's able to walk away unscathed. So good for her. Now with the level 7 talents here, we already got things ramping up a little bit, and especially Ninop is starting to really bring the pain. And that could be another kill, and indeed it is. Tychus is down again. Alfredo today is starting to have some trouble here. We had 11,000 damage for Vala. Hogger is sitting at 6,000, 7,000. So Vala is really getting value out of the AoE damage. Again, great map for her, obviously. Yeah, Brightwing down at the bottom of the map. As the camps respawn, both of the teams are eager to lock at least 2 of them in. But the blue team follows up with a neutral one and gets that first. And Vala is still stacking. It's all about those stacks and the late game damage that you wanted to dish out, especially of course with the objective in mind too. And Nanope is currently doing a great job here. He needs to be a little bit careful because Inubara could engage at any point and try to connect the double stun here, but the rest of the team is ready as well. Yeah, a little bit more spin to win, and Nanope with another connect, so he's looking really solid here. He's getting the most out of these situations. He's sitting at 21 stacks at this point. They have a half-level lead, which will give them the early level 10. Could help them to maybe take a wall down. It's not going to give them an advantage over the objective, but maybe if you push it here, you can steal something away. Camps are obviously coming up in another minute, so there's not really too much to do about that. Alfredo getting attacked again, but they make the play for Blaze. Brightwing with a save. And the red team is taking a bit of a beating, especially DK over here on the Zanuburak is starting to have some trouble. Farlander is attempting to get Hogger connected, and that's a kill. That's a kill. Yeah, he dodged out on the jet propulsion, but he can't dodge out on the damage, and that is 3 kills to 0 for the Mafia. Yeah, they are ramping this thing up very, very quickly here. And now with the level 10 advantage, they of course rule the map for now. We got them with the last rights. They also have the falling sword in. Level 10 abilities are kicking in for the opponent's team too. Bit of free damage against the Nubarak. And another connect as down in the mid lane. We have another kill against Tigers, but the damage up here is really solid. And this is pretty important because that's where the next objective spawns. And boy, does a Nubarak have to be careful. They're trying to make the play for Vala. One stun dodged out, and all of a sudden the Nubarak is in trouble, and a lot of that forcing the tranquility on the side of Malfurion. But they're going again for Hogger, and he's down. And that's not the only thing that's going to die here, is it now? They're body blocking Malfurion, and he bites the dust to 6 kills to 0. The Mafia, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Pretty ruthless. They have a 1 level lead now. Objective is popping up. 26,000 for Vala. Not a single kill for the Wi-Fi boys. And this is starting to look grim. Very, very grim for the red team. Now you can always try and bring it back, but it is not going to be easy at all. Last rights is back. Here comes Brightwing. That's a polybomb, but that's a dead Sonya, and that's a stack for Malfurion, Malthael if he wants it. And there it is. Bam. Gets the stack, they get the kill, 7 kills to 0, and the fight up at the top over the Arcane Punisher has now started up too. Currently the blue team has a bit of a lead, but they are just going for the farm. They want to try and take Simply Decay down too. Yeah, everybody is getting a kill today. Wer hat noch nicht, wer will noch mal? Everybody moving in. This time Vala locks it in. They go for the fountain, try to take down the sustain on the lane. And they are already going for the fort. Look at this. They have more than a level lead over the opponent's team. They have a level 13 advantage now. They can take the objective. They can take the fort. They are absolutely ruthless here. Yeah, this is a bit of a disaster for the Wi-Fi boys. It's the first tournament that they participate in, if I'm not mistaken, in the qualifiers. For the flipping Mafia, it is the second one. We're talking Russian Mafia, by the way. And to my knowledge, X-Ray is also communicating with them in Russian, so there's that. We got 8 kills to 0. And, yeah, off we go. Mid lane is a bit in trouble, as you can tell. The gate is already down. The towers are on half HP. Up at the top, this one, foregone conclusion. Easy peasy. Can take that down without any trouble in the world. 2 stacks for Malthael means that he's now at a 10-second cooldown reduction on his ult too. So he's starting to ramp this up. And they are trying to go for a bit more on the map. The fort is obviously going to fall, but the team is trying to steal this away. And Sonya is moving straight into them. So it's like, oops, I don't want to be here. Let me get out of there, boys. So, well, with that, we now have the next fountain being eliminated. That's an easy one. And of course, the idea is to use the advantage and the Punisher that is drawing some attention topside still to move into the mid lane. Punisher's, by the way, by now been defeated. So now they're attempting to defend here. It's only a 1/4 that went down, but it's a 2-level lead that they established. That is just insane. There's the stun. There's the stun. But they're not following up on it. Funz, on the other hand, comes in with a Horror Pult. But, yep, no follow-up on this. A little bit more damage to the fort in the mid lane, especially with the Khaldor camp that was set up here. But the minion wave itself also did some work. So they're losing their foothold on the map. If the Mafia doesn't give them an opening, it will be very difficult for the Wi-Fi boys to come back into this one. They need some kills. They are not going to win this on the macro side. They don't run a global. The other team is having has a Brightwing there. So they need some kills. But up to this point, at least, the blue team hasn't given them a lot of openings. There's not a lot of heroes that are overstepping on lane, that are staying too long and giving them a chance to gank up on someone. Instead, we're always having these kill attempts. Bishops this time with the jet propulsion, but Hogger was already in this unstoppable mode. There's the 16 kicking in. That makes it even easier for Vala to get some damage connected with the Manticore. Once Farfly Quiver is a thing, that's even more of a problem. Not an insane amount of stacks, by the way, for Vala. A lot of the fights haven't really shaped up the way that she can capitalize on them completely. The first one was the best for her. Got quite a few stacks, but now, yeah, she's having a little bit more trouble in this. But they're still doing well. Sonya has to defend the top lane. The level 16 talent, of course, gives them a huge boost. And that's getting even more of a problem now. Tranquility again, falling sword. They're switching targets over to Hogger. And there's another jet propulsion. Bunkering up as we speak. Everybody low. Last rites. And he survives. Malthael a bit too trigger happy, but Anubarak is still in trouble. They're trying to go for a blaze. They can't get the kill there either. But as the fight rages on, the fort takes damage too. And is slowly starting to fall apart here. Yeah. Blaze just over here, moving back. Damage output, to give you guys a bit of an idea, we're now at 44,000 for Vala, 25k as the top damage for the red team on Hogger's side. And they're at least gonna get the experience here, aren't they? They might also lose one. He's gonna spin out. And does he have last rites? No, he does not, but he doesn't need it either. Even the falling sword wasn't needed. X-ray was just YOLO. He wants to jump around a little bit. Yeah, on level 16 we got a Anubarak, of course, now with his next talent. He went for Epic Enter. I mean, Epic Enter is a really nice talent because you can epically enter the opponent's team if you're trying to gank up on somebody and take them down. And at the epicenter of the burrow charge, the stun is going to be the most epic, so that's what he's looking for here. And then they need to follow up with some of that. We got the armor piercing rounds in, the spray and pray, so a bit of an adjusted setup for Tychus too. Our boy with the nature's balance. Yeah, it's a bit rough. I'm not gonna lie, they got 16 talents at least. I mean, this is the best fight for the Wi-Fi boys that they're ever gonna get. They need to get some kills here. If they don't successfully take a few heroes down at this point, or at least lock in the objective, then they're in real trouble. And here comes the falling sword, the turnaround attempt against Nano P, stun into the wall, but he's still absolutely Gucci, at least for now. Vala doing some work, X-ray a bit low, but the damage is coming out. Sonya with a follow-up attempt, Brightwing with the heals, keeping everybody alive, and down here, they're switching it back to Sonya. It's finally a kill against Malthael. The aspect of death is deaded, and well, there's that. 4 versus 5. All of a sudden an opportunity to maybe follow up with the second kill. They try to go for Jojo. Condemn comes out, X-Ray in trouble, gets healed and survives. Yeah, this is looking pretty decent for the red team. The problem is that Blaze locked in the Punisher, so they can't capitalize on the objective. They got a kill finally. It's not going to be a perfect game for the Mafia, but then again, they're pushing through the middle now. 2 forts have been annihilated, and they hope to, I guess, take down the wall. I don't really think they're going to get much more than that, considering that Malthael isn't back yet. But, yep, there we go. That's a quick kill against Hogger, and that is now, all of a sudden, a completely different situation, because now we're talking 4 versus 4 with the Punisher behind them. And Malthael is also on his way. So, this is going to lead to a destroyed keep. They're going to lose the keep 100% here. This was, I think, salvageable. But with them losing Hogger this quickly, not happening. And now Farlander is back with his Malthael and the last rites that he could drop at any moment. Especially Nuburak has to be careful. But the keep goes down, and the dominant performance of the Mafia continues. So, yeah, good stuff. At least for the blue team. We got them with 10 kills to 1. Closing slowly in on the level 20 talents. Storm talent advantage would obviously go a long way too. 51 stacks for our girl Vala, which brings her right now to 62,000 damage. And down here, Shamsi gets attacked. Brightwing, yeah, jumped out. Eats the grenade regardless though, but is able to survive and tap the fountain. That's of course the beauty when you still have the outer ring of defense intact. You have those fountains still in play. And that's exactly what they use now. A little bit of a push in the middle. We're 15 minutes into the game. Technically, when the catapults make it towards the core, they're going to do damage. But yeah, it's not going to be enough to really threaten them. There's no objective up. There's no real need to stay there. But you can tell from the minimap and how it's being pushed out that there is a lot of control now for the Mafia. Yeah, they got a lot here. So, with all of that, we got our level 20 talents in. Cooldown reduction for Jojo. We also have the Farflight Quiver again for Vala. Brightwing with Invisible Friend. And no one can stop death. It's kind of funny. I mean, he's the only one that died once, right? And they are running with that advantage. They know perfectly well that once that you have a level 20 advantage, you should try and do something with it. So they're sieging up at the bot lane to break open the wall. The next objective, by the way, spawns here too. And ooh, that got scary for Hoggar. That could have been a kill. If Jojo connects the hits and then Maltail comes in with his ult, then that's a dead Hoggar. But as it stands, the red team is still trying to catch up in experience, but they're losing the entire wall down here. Sonya starting to move in too. Wrath of the Berserker is up. At the side we still have Hoggar trying to make the play. But he's not the only one. He's getting immediately zoned out by Malthael. Hoggar's just like, yeah, I don't really want to deal with that. So they are just eating dirt now. It's half a level until 20. And they're trying to survive long enough. But the keep is taking damage too now. And that's a problem because, again, the next objective is spawning bot side. If the blue team takes that, they're going to make an attempt for the core. Yeah. And it gets already announced. Sonya is doing her best to get them to level 20, all that she can do. And obviously you want to set up the camp. But since they don't have vision, they're sending Sonya back. And that's the problem. When you lose control over the map and vision in general, then there could always be a gank on one of those mercenary camps. In this case, it's not happening. But there's level 20 now. So we got the rewind in. We got ignore pain. We got the anger management. Malfurion is in trouble. Malfurion is in deep shit and Malfurion is gonna die. Yeah, well, maybe not. The cocoon saved him for now, but this isn't over yet. Blaze comes in and they burn Malf down, but Bishops is gonna fall too. Brightwing was a bit too late with the help assist there. Shrine is finally active. They are getting the last rights kill in against Hoggar. So now it's a 3 versus 4. But here comes Odin. Maybe a bit late. Alfredo with the damage. But they're turning it once more on Tychus, on Anuburak. Everybody is on the run. There's the Jojo move in and kill. And, well, I'm not sure what to tell you guys, but that's likely going to be game. They go for the 5-man team wipe. They're gonna get it here. That's the end of Sonya, and that will be the end of the game. The flipping Mafia with a victory in game number 1 of the day. The best of 1 series decided in their favor as they're dropping Shield and Core to move on to the next round. It's the second tournament that they participate in. The team newly formed and so far doing a decent job. So congratulations to the blue team. They're going to have to play one more best of 1 before they head into the semifinals. But for the time being, at least, things are going their way. The Flipping Mafia with a victory on Inferno Shrines. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2 of the tournament, round number 2. So we are following the Flipping Mafia and now they go up against Go Next. So an interesting one. We got Towers of Doom as our map in the best of 1, and as you guys already know, there's no loser bracket here, so you lose, you're out of the tournament. You have to come back next week and play again. But the Mafia, they've been doing well in the last tournament. They locked a couple of points in. They made it to the semi-final. Today, the goal is obviously to do the same thing and pull that off once more so that they can accumulate a couple more points for the ranking. We got our Stitches ban, which is kind of sad. I still like to see Stitches in play, so every single time he's banned, I'm just like, another opportunity that we missed out on that. But, well, there's the Medivh ban on the other side. Which leaves quite a few of the heroes that you would normally see banned up for grabs still. I mean, I still expect Zagara to be banned out. Would be kind of shocked if she makes it through, but it has to be the blue team that bans her out, because first pick is in the hands of the Mafia. So this should be a Zagara ban. We already have Zeratul banned out. And there's Zagara. It's kind of sad. It feels like Blizzard oftentimes just goes a little bit overboard with the patches that they have. They take a hero that is more or less useless and pretty much not played at all, and then they buff it a bit too much, and all of a sudden the hero is so strong that it makes it in pretty much no game because it gets banned all the time. Now Nenop is playing Vala again, and they already did that in the first round, so he played it back then with the triple front line, but without a second support. In this map they could technically try and go for Zarya again. I pointed her already out on Infernal Shrines, where she is a possible pick. The same is true for Towers of Doom, since the goal is oftentimes to establish a very strong foreman at the bottom of the map, and then try to just crush that bell tower. But again, they showed that they are willing to play Vala with only one support, and they could do that again here. So on the left side, we can now got Hanzo and Stukov locked in. And, well, let's see what's going to go with this. Because the Stukov pick is already kind of nice. Normally means that you also want to have a pre-stun through your main tank so that you can follow up with the lurking arm on top of it. And the virulent reaction rate later on. Talking about the pre-stuns, there's one right there. Muradin is in the house. X-Ray is going to hop around on the dwarf a little bit as Brightwing gets picked too, second time in the row. So they're kind of sticking with the core a little bit of what they played in game number 1. Another best of 1 series that they have, well, another best of 1 that they have to win. And yeah. Against Go Next, it's not going to be that easy. Here comes the Uther ban. Yeah, because again, double support Vala is a thing. And very strong. It's still confusing a lot of people. There's a lot of different things that you can play these days. We had triple frontline, we had double melee, we have easy setups with a double support. That's normally either played with Vala, and we have seen it with Suljin now multiple times, to an extent where some teams even ban out the double support, or ban Suljin out when they're seeing the potential for a good double support setup. Especially the Hardos have been playing some solid Suljin games whenever they could stack like monsters on his level 1. Nick has just crushed opponents with that. Here comes the Hogger ban. Now that the bans are gone, there's a little bit of a moment of truth element here. What are we going to get for Blade? Blaze is a hero that he plays a lot. You can see him also in Leo, but Blaze is usually a really solid one for him. He's also playing Rexa on some maps, but this isn't really the one for it. The Vikings again, they're doing it again. They played it last tournament already. Wit is going for the Vikings. He really likes that shit, and honestly, I enjoy it. Win or lose, I don't really care. I really like to see the Vikings because it just adds that extra little touch in there. These days, we see them a bit more often, but thankfully not every game, and I absolutely love it. The Vikings are currently in a pretty okay spot. They get played occasionally. They don't get played a ton, and any hero like them should be in that position. Same goes for some others. If we had certain maps and compositions where, for example, Gazlo would every now be played, it would be great too. So that's pretty nice. We get Genji together with it. Already trying to capitalize on that a little bit. And a second global, so Dehaka gets played by Farlander, which gives them a Dehaka and Brightwing setup. They can really try and control the macro game, even though the Vikings are played from the other team. But yeah, this is a good one. I like that a lot. Vikings, Nubarak. Again, Nubarak, the pre-stun, obviously, for the Stukov follow-up. I pointed out earlier, Stukov was picked. And here comes Sylvanas. So the idea is to have the 4-man rocking the bot lane again and control that. There's 2 mercenary camps that push through this one. That's why it's the most important one on Towers of Doom. It's pretty much a rule of thumb that's true for any map. Take Dragonshire, for example, where the bot lane holds 3 mercenary camps. But well, that sets us up. Go next, everybody, against the flipping Mafia. Let's go. The second round of the 6th qualifier for the X-Cup Summer. Go next against the Mafia, and on the left side we get the Vikings. Wit is locking them in today. We have Kelvin on Hanzo, Skynox on Stukov, Blade on Nubarak, and Zero is playing Sylvanas in the first game. On the right side of the map, X-Ray on Muradin playing the Dwarf here today, trying to set up the stuns. Yeah, we have Nano P on Vala, Shamzik on Brightwing for a bit of global action, and that is supported even more by Farlander playing the Haka in the game now, so they have a double global so they can play against the Vikings a bit. Vikings are going to try and especially control the mid and the top lane, and Farlander's the Haka will be able to hold the top lane, rotate between the two, and then also join the team fights whenever there is a problem. We have Bishops on Genji, and obviously you can try and play around the reset mechanic when you're going up against the Vikings and go for the hunt a bit, so that's likely something we're going to see in the game here. But especially around these mercenary camps after they spawn, we are likely going to see a little bit of the Haka action as they move in and try and pick fights with a 5 versus 4 situation. So that's kind of what you are trying to accomplish when you're playing this particular setup. Already the Stormbolt hits home. Oh my god. Oh, what? Blade? Is that a kill? They're really working for it, but they couldn't get it. And Nubarak, he definitely shit a brick in that situation though. That's not how you want to start the game. You're just like trying to set up a gank yourself, and then a Stormbolt hits you in the face, you're getting squashed completely. And that's a bit annoying. Okay, Kelvin, careful. Bishop's a little bit deep, and that's a Genji kill. And they go for Brightwing 2. Double kill. Easily taken out. Well done. Go next. They started the game off with a bit of a scare, but then they turned it around just like this. Genji does the Genji thing. He goes a little bit too deep, tries to take his brother down. There's a bit of a vendetta going on in that family, and then it's not only him that dies, but Brightwing also bites the dust. So with 2 already down, there's not much more that they can do. The hope is, of course, always that you can maybe even steal the opponent's pumpkin camp away with the extra dominant position that you're getting, but yeah, it's not really happening here. Either way, it's a slightly inexperienced, bit of an advantage. X-Ray, hoppity hop, little dwarf. He's already jumping out. And here we go. They're making the play for 0. And no, it's not happening this time. Yeah, it always feels like a bit of a weird one. I mean, Genji and Illidan are 2 very good examples. I guess Kerrigan also belongs into the category. Pretty much most melee assassins in particular. It's always when you face off against them, it's an absolutely god on the hero that, you know, wrecks your entire team. And if someone plays it for your team, it's a shitty cosplayer that is jumping around in the backyard. That's what it feels like. Obviously, not trying to rip on Genji here too hard, because we all know that at least this one is pretty good. Bishops is a beast. But the last encounter didn't really look all that great. If you go in deep for the potential kill, of course you want to lock it in at least if you die. But if you fail to get the kill and then you die and someone else that tries to help you out also doesn't make it, it always looks a little bit bad. Level 4 abilities are in. We get Nano P again with the stacking, is already sitting at 13. We got the Thunderburn on level 4 for Muradin. And yeah, it is time for the first few altars. So let's go and set this up and see what exactly we're gonna get here. Who takes the lead with the 2-1 setup? Let's go. 2 kills to 0. Up at the top right, the channel is already in. Vikings want to interrupt, and Farlander is gonna try and shut that down. Misses the drag though. The fight down here, on the other hand, turns on X-Ray, and with the help of Stukov, they nearly got the kill against the dwarf. Eric is down. And there's still interrupt potential. Only one has been locked in so far. And there's 2 heroes at the top side trying to just secure this one. So the Vikings are dying, that's true. But the Haka will have to come down here if they want to really do something about this. And there he is. Genji is also on the way. So this is turning very quickly into a 5 versus 4 as Genji approaches. And even before he's here, they get the kill. They take down Hanzo. The hipster beard is dead. And this time Genji, together with Brightwing, finishes the job. The Fruit Fly with the double kill. And that locks in an additional 4 shots fired against the core. Therefore, 36 to 32 points now for the red team. The Mafia with the lead and the extra experience. By the way, one of the things that I want to point out real quickly, because it was a topic lately on YouTube too, is how exactly the maps work for the tournament. So the tournament pool has in total 11 maps. Those maps have nothing to do with what Blizzard has in Storm League. Storm League is an uncoordinated shit show and just pretty much an upgraded quick match. It's quick match with draft at the end of the day. For the competitive scene, what usually happens is that the players, they're they're allowed to vote for which maps they want to have in the pool. In total, 11 maps are in the pool. And then when we start any game, each team has 2 bans. Vala going down here. Has 2 bans, so 4 maps get banned. That leaves 7. And then the teams are starting to pick. So that's why you oftentimes see the same maps. It's just the maps that are the most balanced in the competitive scene. There's a lot of maps that are not even in the map pool because they're just not suited for competitive play. Blackheart's Bay is a very good example. Warhead is pretty garbage. And other maps, as for example, Haunted Mines, are falling into the same category. So in order to get them back into competitive play, Blizzard would have to balance them a bit. And I personally also believe that this is something that they should focus on more so than designing new maps. Sometimes people, you know, that run around and say like, oh my god, we need a new map, and I could not disagree more. I think that's one of the dumbest points that you can actually make if you're interested in the competitive scene. Because we have plenty of maps. We have way too many maps, honestly. Most people don't even understand half of how the objective works on all the maps. What we need is the maps being balanced so that all the maps that exist can be played in a competitive setup. But yeah, so with that little tirade, I hope that explains a little bit better how the maps are coming together in these tournaments. The top left, top right exchange as the teams are locking in the altar. Nothing really too crazy about that, obviously, in the second altar phase of the game. But we're also seeing a little bit more action. In this case, down here, Brightwing is getting attacked. We have our level 10 abilities kicking in for the 2 teams, but no additional kills right now. So, yeah, there we go. Level 10s are in. This gives us the X strike for Genji. The arrows into Nano P. A little bit low, but he is still keeping to the action, and they're getting the hits in, and Anubarak dies. Anubarak is down, and they're attempting the follow-up. Stukov is looking real bad here, and dies too. So, nice kill for the blue team. Nice double kill for them. And that gives them more power over the bot lane, and oh my god, they are really going for Hanzo. Ooh, baby. What a setup. They got really aggressive around this one. But it all started with these 2 kills right here. And Nubarak got a bit murdered. The CC chain with Vala dropping the Rain of Vengeance on him after the Stormbolt of Muradin. And then they got Stukov after that. Now we're looking at 6 kills to 3. And a very strong position for the Mafia at the bot lane as they're attempting to put the first few points of the bell tower itself. So, yeah, very, very good setup here. And again, the Mafia is strong. This is the second tournament, as I pointed out earlier, that they participate in. The entire X-Cup series is designed so that the teams don't have to participate in every single tournament if they don't want to. Especially the teams that are playing on the highest level. If they just play in a few of the qualification tournaments and then make it into the later rounds, that already helps them. The Vikings are obviously over here still trying to control everything. Go Next is one of the teams that completed or participated in nearly every single qualifier so far. And they are currently in the top 8, so good for them. Shots fired again, being exchanged here. So we still have a very, very... Oh, there's the kill against Nanopi. We still have a very, very even position in terms of points, 28 to 24. But that kill against Vala, that was a good one. And that also brings Go Next back a little bit. They have Sylvanas in the mix, and that means every single time they take control of the game, they can do a lot of damage by simply putting Sylvanas into a position where she pushes with the rest of the team. And that's what they're trying to do here. Genji and the rest of the red team are attempting to slow them down slightly to give Vala a bit of time to come back. The early level 13 is still a thing, but even with all the CC, it seems Blake makes it out. The heal is there, maybe not. The Stormbolt and the kill. And Nubarak is down, the pest control is in the house, and the cockroach has been eliminated. Puta cucarachas. Okay, 4 kills to 9. There's another one. They go for the triple kill, and whew, that's a spicy turnaround. I think Go Next was pretty happy when they were in a position where they took Vala down and then tried to snowball it a bit. Maybe they overstayed slightly. So now we have the bell tower at the bot lane finally falling. And we're still looking at a level lead, which is pretty spicy. Now, we have our level 13 talents, the Virulent Reaction. We got the Ninja Assassin. Is that not an oxymoron? Are ninjas already assassins by default? I mean, let's be honest for just a second. Ninjas are fucking assassins. That's just pretty much it. It's pretty much what the word means. So, like, what else do you know? Like, what else would it be? Ninja farmer? That's not going to be a thing. It's just no. X-Ray, by the way, I mean, no fucks given by the Dwarf. He's staying. They go for Blade again, but they can't take him down. But that was a close call. Another hit, and Genji X-Strike, and he dies. But so does Blade. The Dwarf comes in and finishes the job right there. So, here we go. But yeah, talent names like that are just a big from my end. The Ninja Gardener. You're not going to have a Ninja Gardener. He just comes, you know, he goes into your backyard and wah! Next day you have tomatoes. That's not what's happening here. 10 kills against 5. The talent advantage with a level 16 is ready too. We got Manticore in, the Dwarf launch, full on control for them now. The Vikings are obviously doing their best to keep them in experience range, but it's really tricky for them now. You can see that with 17,000, they're definitely leading the chart there, but Farlander is doing an exceptional job rotating between the two lanes and making sure that he's getting all the XP for the team too. As you can see here, 16,000. Honestly, Farlander is playing his own game. Every now and then he moves down with a global into a team fight, and with great successes we've seen previously in the first altar phase. But outside of that, he's just soaking. He's just soaking the entire time and trying to get to setup. But for the blue team, I mean, it's getting a bit tricky here. 36,000 damage for Sylvanas. We get 33,000 for Vala. So Sylvanas is actually looking good on this one. But it's a bit difficult. Especially in Nubarak. I mean, he has 3 deaths, right? So it's not like he is sitting on 5 or 6. But he's been farmed a lot. There's a lot of pressure on Blade. And I gotta give it to X-Ray. I mean, X-Ray has been playing support the entire time. But even here as the main tank, again, a role that obviously he also played a bit in the past. But still, at this point, he is the main tank for the team. He is doing a fairly decent job here with a lot of aggression. By the way, some teams have asked what's actually going on, where's 30k? There's still a lot of confusion around this, but guys, 30k is not really a thing. So this is 30k is an organization, and during the time of the Masters Clash, they had a deal with X-Ray's old team that the old team of X-Ray would represent them in the Masters Clash. That's all they had. That was a deal that was true for the Masters Clash. That was it. So now that the Masters Clash is over, that's not a thing anymore. 30k, the organization currently doesn't have a team in Europe. For the CCL, it's a bit of a different story, but again, CCL is a bit of a weird-ass setup when it comes to that anyways, with the captain's drafts that they're using for a league system. Not really a fan of that setup. But either way, in Europe, there is no 30k team. So some have still, as a bit of a leftover, the tag in their name, but this is the reason why X-Ray is playing with the flipping Mafia here, and the European teams have been very much different from the setup that existed in NA. The confusion stems mainly from the fact that some of the European players have decided to jump on the NA server and farm some free money over there with the CCL, but outside of that, European teams have been, for the most part, actually pretty stable. 5 shots are already fired with the first one. They get the hits in at the top 2. First Viking is down. Triple altar phase. Farlander is locking this one in. And Eric on the left. So that's 10 to 3 points in total. And this is where the Mafia is starting to get a bit more ahead. Now they're widening the gap between the two teams. It's 5 kills to 11. Obviously the talent advantage didn't really hurt them in the last encounter either. Epicenter is now in play too. We got the Manticore, of course. And they are starting to control or defend their bot lane even further. Look at X-Ray. He's just jumping around the entire time. Like, he enjoys that way too much. But either way, another nice shot from Vala as she connects the multi-shot with, I think, 4. There's the arrow. They're trying to go for Brightwing. And Shamsik! Yeah, he dies. He nearly survived that one. He had 7 hit points at some point, and there's the second kill as Muradin goes down too. Nicely done. Very, very well done. So that's an awesome one. 14 to 22. We have the bell tower retaken by Go Next. Good for them. They are hoping for another kill, which they don't get. Blade is dodged out both times as Farlander is keeping himself alive. But we're coming back to the momentum that you can build up with Sylvanas. I mentioned it earlier, and here it is again. They got 2 kills. The death timers are, of course, much higher now that we are 12, 13 minutes into the game. So not only do they retake their own bell tower, they also take the bell tower at the bottom right. So that's 2 bell towers taken, and just like that, the Mafia is a bit behind on the map. They've lost map control. Now they're ahead in kills, they're slightly ahead in experience, they're heavily ahead when it comes to points on the core. But they lost the map control. Likely they're going to give this one up too. might decide to just go for the boss if they don't want to fight down there. And the main reason why you wouldn't fight here is because you have no retreat point. The bell tower on the left and the right side of this altar, they both belong to the blue team. So that's the reason why they're just giving it up, saying, hey, we'll eat the 5 shots, screw it, and we'll fight later. Now 17 against 14 points, but it gets interesting here. Go next in the late game. Yep, it's towers. I don't know what to tell you. Towers of Doom. You can dominate the early game all game long. If your opponent at some point takes full on map control, then you're just going to be in trouble. Now we have the kills coming in, or at least the attempt at one against Sylvanas. X-Ray jumped in again and connected the Stormbolt, but they just can't get the kills. Vala is through all of these skirmishes now in a position though where she is stacking more and more. She's currently sitting at 74 stacks, which puts her into the lead in damage. 60,000 damage by now. Yeah, X-Strike in the back, and they are all eating a lot of dirt here. I mean, that's point after point that's dropping. The attack was against X-Ray, who's jumping out again. They're sieging up on this, and Dehaka is still playing his little game. Going for the Vikings, taking another one down. Wit is losing this one, and now we see the rest of the red team rotating topside, I guess with a goal to take down the boss. And they're gonna get this one. Objective isn't announced yet. They have level 20. There's no real reason for the blue team to fight here. They could maybe shoot the arrow over, but I don't think that they're gonna be here in time. There's 20 versus 20 now. Now they have a chance. I thought the window was a bit closer, but it isn't. The arrow gets completely dodged out. They're making the point. And the Vikings, they die quickly. Nubarak is dead too. Yeah, they're going quickly for their kills here. Skynox is eliminated. Ooh, that is bad news for Go Next. That's really bad news, because in 10 seconds, the objective is up as well. Yeah, take another look at this one. The arrow went through, then they came in with a stun. They took some of the Vikings down as they were trying to go for the play again, and they dropped the Nubarak, followed up very quickly after that with a beautiful drag from Farlander's Dehaka to lock in another kill. Now, at the top, this bell tower has been taken, so now it's 4 points against 4, which means you lock both in and you take 8 points off the opponent's core, and it's already down to 10 because of the boss that they got a few seconds ago. So this is actually a position where they could even end the game if they lock this one. And it's 17 seconds until Nubarak is back. This is bad news. They interrupt Wit. Bell tower in the mid lane is nearly being taken. They have it. If they lock both altars in, it's a game. It's a win. And they're trying. They're already going for Sylvanas again. Uh-oh, they're both dying. Yeah, that's game. That's game right here. No, they lock in one. Wit was able to channel it. The 3 shots connect, and it's 5 against 14 now. But they can start the barrage. If they take the bottom bell tower now, and there's only 2 defenders, they will start the barrage, and that is likely going to end the game anyways, because both of the damage dealers, they could bring it back, are dead. So yes, he delayed it with the altar channel, but down here, the final bell tower is about to be destroyed. And I'm lying, because there's another one on the right side that Bishops is taken care of. So they're trying to take it in the middle. Bottom left has been taken. Bottom right is taken too. The barrage is starting. Farlander gets pushed back, and the shots are being fired. How many are they going to get out of this one? Yeah, there's the first one. It puts them down to 4. Shot number 2 any second. Stukov, no! Stukov is down, and the rest of them is dying too. This, ladies and gentlemen, is game. Another setup with the pumpkins coming in, and they can just YOLO around a bit. And, well, that is a shot, and there comes the last one. Nicely done, GG, the flipping Mafia, with a pretty cool game and a victory against Go Next as they move on to the next round of the tournament, the semi-final.